Hey guys, today is likely to be quite an action-oriented day. We could be feeling real energized and really active in one way or another. There is lots of Aries energy going on right now. We have Mars officially moved into the sign of Aries, forming a conjunction, moving closer each day to Jupiter in Aries as well. We also have the moon in Aries today. We have Venus and Chiron in Aries. So there is a lot of Aries energy going on. Aries energy is all about this fire lit up under us to really take some type of action, really be assertive in some type of a way. We might be feeling quite motivated as well. We also have a couple other aspects going on in the sky, a couple things playing out. Pluto's implicated in there. So we have some other astrology to talk about too today, you guys. So let's get into the chart and see what we're working with today. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. And as usual, if you stick with me to the end of the report, I'm going to be talking about some tarot cards that came out in conjunction with the astrology today as well. So we got that going on. Wanted to let you guys know about as well. But let's start with the astrology. First of all, as I said, this could be a very action-oriented day. We might be really busy. There might be a lot going on. Things might be kind of fast-paced. They could be a little heated or contentious in some type of a way as well. And that is because we have this tremendous emphasis right now on these Aries vibrations, on this sign of Aries. We may be feeling very energized and also just really active today in one way or another, very assertive and motivated and inspired and passionate as well. Now we're talking about this emphasis on Aries, what's going on in the sign of Aries, because if you saw my video from yesterday, you know that yesterday evening, last night, Mars and the moon both moved together from the last degree of Pisces to the first degree of Aries, and Mars is the ruler of Aries. This is very like refined, defined Mars Aries energy. This is like the epitome of Aries energy is what we are experiencing and what is being expressed when we have Mars, ruler of Aries, in the sign of Aries. And Mars, this is the warrior archetype. Mars rules fights and battles and conflict, but also courage and bravery and, strength and endurance and motivation and willpower and passion and all of that type of stuff. So when we are dealing in Aries, this is all about being very independent. It's the first sign of the zodiac. This is like the initial spark of life, right? And that's why I've also been saying this is sort of like a rebirth of our energy body that we're going through right now. And actually yesterday, it also happened to correspond with our emotional body as well, because the moon synchronistically was right there with Mars when Mars moved from the last sign of the zodiac to the first sign of the zodiac, again, like triggering, activating this rebirth, this new spark of life, this new cycle in terms of how we are relating to our own energy and how we are expressing ourselves, essentially. Aries is also the sign of the self. It rules the first sign of the zodiac. It also has to do with like the head, just generally like that's the part of the body that it rules and represents. But with Aries, Mars dominant energy right now, this is like a strong passion or will or desire or motivation or inspiration to really charge ahead, to take some action. Aries is also a cardinal sign, and the cardinal signs are about taking action and making things happen. So with Mars now, and again, this is our energy, and this is how we take action, and this is how we behave, and this is, what we do. Moving into the sign of Aries, where it is most purely expressed, we really are sort of becoming our own warrior right now this week in this energy, especially also as Mars is moving into conjunction with Jupiter. Jupiter expands everything. It supersizes things, and it is supersizing this Mars Aries pure energy that we have going on. Mars also represents the divine masculine, standing up for ourselves, fighting for our personal truth in a conjunction with Jupiter. So whereas over this past couple of months when Mars was transiting the sign of Pisces, we may have really been avoiding taking action in certain types of ways, or avoiding having to face challenges, or avoiding facing difficult conversations and scenarios and stuff like that, maybe putting things off, maybe, just trying to be a little more passive about certain situations in our lives. Well, now that we have Mars in the sign of Aries with Jupiter there as well, and also today, like I said, the moon, this is sort of throwing caution to the wind in those regards and really being re-inspired in our own regard, really, in regards to our own self and the faith and trust and belief that we do have in our own self to be able to persevere and to be able to make something happen, to be able to take some type of action. Actually, as well, with Jupiter in the conjunction to Mars, this actually brings good luck. It's like fortunate action, like doing something lucky, like a lucky move, sort of, you know what I mean? And it also, of course, increases, like I said, our energy and our passion, our motivation, our will, but also our self-confidence, our self-trust, our belief in ourselves, which in turn also helps us to attract these more beneficial, positive, lucky scenarios that have a tendency of coming to us when we do have Mars in a conjunction with Jupiter, and specifically in the sign of Aries. Again, this is also, though, like really embodying and standing in our personal truth. And we're going to be talking more about this aspect all week as we build into the conjunction, which I believe happens on the 29th. So we got that going on, but definitely, yes, a very action-oriented day with all of this energy in Aries. We do, of course, still have Venus in Aries, who is the ruler of our Taurus cycle that we're in right now. So even the ruler of the cycle we're in right now, also in the sign of Aries. Venus in Aries is all about getting what she wants, all about pursuing her desires and her passions and being receptive to getting them, to achieving them, to receiving them as well. So now with Mars there, and like I said, the moon and Jupiter, we may really be feeling inspired in this energy to start going after the things that we are desiring. And actually today, there may be an aspect of like news or information somehow that is actually like spurring us into action or like driving this desire to take some type of action in some type of way. It's interesting because we have the sun today discharging 5 degrees of Gemini. And that Sabian symbol is a radical magazine or publication calling for action, displays a sensational front page. So there may be some messaging coming through today. There may be some news, some headlines. There may be some things that we're hearing, some conversations that we're having, just generally like some interactions or some encounters that in some type of a way are spurring us into action in some type of a way, are motivating us to act somehow. So we have that playing out, going on as well. Really interesting that that is the symbol coming out. And we also, like, in the context of saying that, we have a couple of things going on. First of all, we also have Mercury making a very potent aspect today. Mercury is retrograding back to 29 degrees of Taurus, and that puts Mercury into an exact trine in the sky now with Pluto retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. Now, I've been talking about this aspect the past couple of days because it has been forming, even though it hasn't been exact. Today, it comes like to its point of exactness. And this is all about a mental transformation, getting to the root of things, seeing under the surface of things, looking behind the curtain, really figuring some things out, learning some things that really change our viewpoint, change our mind, transform our perspective in one way or another. This is also very self-analytical energy, very, very good for research, for study, for again, just like figuring out the root issue of things, the root cause of things, and like how to remedy that as well in some type of a way. Pluto also rules regeneration and ultimately healing. And so Mercury in the trine to Pluto, though, this is really giving us some very penetrating insight into something that we may have been, especially with this retrograde energy, in a lack of clarity or lack of understanding about. And as a result of that, not been able to like align with the truth of our own power. Whenever we have a Pluto aspect playing out as well, I have a tendency of feeling like, you know, regardless of what the aspect is, at the end of the day, whatever is happening is to like make some type of adjustment in relation to our own relationship to our own like power, because Pluto rules power in all of its forms. And I feel like, you know, Pluto's like the phoenix rising energy, like it breaks things down, but it does so to bring them into a more like powerful version of themselves than they had been originally and initially. And so when we have Mercury forming the trine to Pluto, these are facilitating aspects. These are aspects of assistance. I feel like this is just sort of, and then, you know, at that degree as well, we may be finding some things out, learning some things either about ourselves or about situations generally in our lives. This could also have to do with work dynamics or partnership dynamics or our relationship to ourselves or our relationship to the divine or how we are self-sabotaging ourselves in some type of a way. Mercury is actually at 29 degrees of Taurus today at like forming this exact trine. That Sabian symbol is two cobblers working side by side at a table. So, you know, whatever revelations or whatever is revealing itself to us perhaps, or, you know, what truth we may be unearthing in this energy, especially with these retrogrades, you know, really going, this could pertain to the past as well, but it could also very much pertain to, again, these two cobblers working side by side at a table, like some type of work dynamics, partnerships, like projects we're involved in, people we're involved in, just relationships generally. But specifically, again, like it may have to do, and this is also the Taurus themes, you know, our work dynamics, our financial dynamics, like the relationships, the partnerships, the agreements and stuff like that could be involved in this somehow and being reworked in this retrograde energy. And, you know, with the degree of the sun today as well, this information or something that we're finding out, something we're becoming privy to now may be motivating us to act in some type of way in this very already action-oriented day that is really calling for action in some type of a way or another. However, we do today have the Earth today, you guys, discharging 5 degrees of Sagittarius. That Sabian symbol is an old owl sits alone on the branch of a large tree. So we really do want to make sure that before we're taking any type of action today, we don't really just want to be doing it like off the cuff or super spontaneous or impulsive. We want to make sure that we are observing things, that we are seeing the higher perspective, that we are allowing this information to come to us and, you know, maybe allowing ourselves to process it a little bit and to make sure we're seeing the whole picture before we just jump into some type of spontaneous action. But other than that, action is definitely like seems to be somewhat of the name of the game today. And, you know, we also have another aspect that's playing out right now that's building. This aspect is not exact yet. It will be as we get more towards the weekend. But we do have Venus right now as well at 27 degrees of Aries. And remember, we have Pluto retrograde. I just got done talking about at 29 degrees of Capricorn. Now, 27 Aries, 29 Capricorn, this is a square that's going on. It's not exact yet. We're at 27 and 29, but, you know, over the next couple days, it will become exact. So we're also now working with Venus in square to Pluto. And Venus in square to Pluto, you guys, this is a very powerful activation in transit that I have a tendency to put a lot of significance on whenever I see it in a chart, you know, in a natal chart that I'm reading, or, you know, when it's playing out in the energy, and especially like at this period of time as well, because if you've been following my work for a while, you know that I was talking about last year, 2021, that really started this whole transition into the age of Aquarius. Our new moon in Aries that year had Venus in an exact square to Pluto. And I was feeling like, you know, the whole year last year was going to have some element or dynamic to it about us breaking ourselves free from anywhere that we had been surrendering our power out of any sense of lack within us, potentially. That was going to be dramatically shifting a lot of the relationship dynamics in our lives. And actually last year for that new moon in Aries, Venus was at the same degree where she is today. And that degree is through imagination, lost opportunities are regained. So I was feeling like in this process, what was actually happening was we were breaking ourselves out of situations that had been perhaps preventing us from seeing the truth of our power, you know, this Pluto aspect based on any type of internalized lack, Venus, Taurus, that we may have been perceiving inside of us in terms of our own value, our own self-worth, our own self-love. But this process and the things that were beginning to be activated in our 2021 astrological lunar year, that new moon in Aries that year, was really about bringing us to a place of restored opportunities or restored through imagination, lost opportunities are regained, like bringing us to a place where we could actually you know, have a second chance perhaps at some things that we may have been thought were lost to us forever. And it's interesting to me, we have Venus coming back to this degree. It's been a year since, well, over a year, because we are almost in the Gemini cycle now, but Venus is back at this degree and she's still in square to Pluto. That's how slowly Pluto moves, especially with his retrogrades and everything. But again, we're in this 222 year now, and we've gone through so much since that point of time. We've changed and we've shifted so much. And I feel like Venus back at this degree, again in the square to Pluto, is talking about coming to a point where we are making these final transformations in our relationships that can set us free to move in this direction and really begin to attract these opportunities and these partnerships that we may have felt were lost for us. These opportunities and relationships that are universally coded in this year to come to us, as long as we are doing our vibrational shift properly and we can align ourselves with them and attract them, that are going to help us receive our hearts and our souls true version of fulfillment, these lost opportunities regained, and through the power of the imagination also. And I do also find that to be an important dynamic of all this energy, because we have had such an active Pisces season that we are coming out of right now. We had a huge conjunction with Jupiter, Venus, and Neptune in the sign of Pisces recently. That is this through imagination energy. Lost opportunities are regained in this 2-2 year, and Venus is there talking about it again today, but she is coming into the square with Pluto, you guys. So I guess this is a very long-winded way of saying I feel like there are relationship transformations that are coming over this next week or so as well. And this could also be, again, in regards to these work relationships, these financial agreements, financial partnerships, projects, and situations that we're working on in terms of those things as well. And I feel like this also is probably having to do with us finding some things out, right? We got Venus moving into the square with Pluto. We also have Mercury in the exact square to Pluto, both retrograde. This could definitely pertain to the past as well, like I said. And the Sun today at that degree, a radical magazine or publication calling for action displays a sensational front page. So, we could definitely be experiencing some major shifts in our interpersonal dynamics, our relationship dynamics, our financial dynamics generally this week, but I'm feeling like it's probably going to have some things to do with what we're finding out, what we are recognizing, noticing, realizing, discovering in this energy at this point in time. And then, the last transit that I really want to talk about today, but I've already really mostly talked about it, is this Mars moving into conjunction with Jupiter as well. Mars is at 1 degree of Aries right now. Jupiter is at 3 degrees of Aries. This gap is going to close as we move through the week. And again, this transit represents fortunate action. Jupiter ruling fortune, Mars ruling action, you put them together. And again, lucky moves, lucky breaks and stuff like that. Very high energy, very high confidence, also very high competence. And as a result, tendency for success happening in this energy. We're making smart choices a lot of times in this energy because, again, Mars is our actions that we're taking and the behaviors that we're exhibiting. And Jupiter is, employing wisdom and seeing things from a higher perspective. So a lot of times we are also making some smart choices when we have this energy playing out. And also, though, I have to say that it can also elevate levels of anger, levels of aggression, fighting, arguing, battle, conflict, and, a supersized or expanded ego can be going on in this energy as well. So those are also things that we need to be aware of. However, again, with Jupiter there, I'm seeing this as most likely us fighting for our truth, fighting for of the freedom to be in alignment with our own authenticity and to express and to create from that place and to follow our passions in association or in alignment with that. So that is really, you guys, what we're looking at in terms of the chart today. Again, the Sabian symbols that I was referencing, the radical magazine or publication calling for action displays a sensational front page. Position of the Sun today. An old owl sits alone on the branch of a tree. Position of the Earth, really needing to make sure that we are observing things and we're seeing the whole picture from the bird's eye perspective. And then Mercury retrograde, the two cobblers sitting side by side at a table, some type of work dynamic, interpersonal dynamic, the people that we're working with and like the projects that we're working on right now at this point in time may be some of the themes that are being referenced in regards to what we're finding out and discovering. And again, this also has to do with the sign of Taurus, value, money, resources, possessions, relationships, partnerships. Those two, that degree and Taurus, are kind of congruent to me in their symbolism and in their meaning. And then, like I said, Venus, 27 Aries, through imagination, lost opportunities are regained. And that is what we're doing in this 222 year as well, in the shift of ages, as we are releasing ourselves from the toxic attachments of the past to which we've been, surrendering our power, Pluto, out of any sense of lack of worth or lack of value or lack of power internally. These Venus themes in our relationship to ourselves. So this is what we're navigating today, you guys. This is what we're navigating this week. Again, perhaps a very active, action-oriented day for sure, with all of this Aries energy and the Aries moon too. So we got that going on. Let's talk about the tarot for a minute. Tarot for a second. Tarot time, everybody. Shuffling the deck this morning, asking God, Spirit, Universe, please clarify what is going on in the collective energy right now. You know, what do we need to know? How is this affecting us on the collective? Very interesting, the cards that came out of the deck this morning, you guys. We got one of the same cards that we got yesterday, even though we only got 2 cards. So the first card that came out of the deck was the Lovers. This has a couple different meanings, but in the specifics of what we have playing out right now, I'm actually feeling like, you know, it kind of goes both ways, but I feel like this is very much representing choices and decisions to the same extent that it's representing relationship dynamics. And then the next card that we got coming out was Judgment, which is so crazy because this card, it's like a card of like rebirth and resurrection and like waking up and hearing the trumpets and seeing the lights and like coming back to life in some type of way, like epiphany, like here I am, a whole new version of me, back from like the long slumber, you know what I mean? And so, and I was saying yesterday in my report, you know, with Mars moving into Aries right now and with the moon as well, this is really sort of like a rebirth in terms of our emotional and energetic bodies. And then we had this Judgment card come out yesterday, and now we have this Judgment card come out again today. And then on the back of the deck, we have the 6 of Swords, which is moving away from something that has not been the best for us, okay? And so the way that I'm really reading this energy with these 2 cards, it's like, first of all, like we may be facing some type of major choice or major decision that we are making right now in terms of this recreation or this rebirth that we are in the process of going through. Like maybe we are like really at a point where we are deciding whether we are going to sort of like fall back on our old ways and fall back on our own habits, or whether we are going to have the courage and the faith and the trust and the belief in ourselves and the motivation to like launch off on this radical new direction, recreate a whole new version of ourselves in alignment with what is true in our heart that can then be mirrored back to us by the universe in this 222 year and help us to attract and receive these like heart and soul's true fulfillment things that are indicated when we are in a year of this type of numerological significance and heading into the age of Aquarius as well. This could also to me be talking about, so this could be talking about like really waking up to some type of important choice or important decision that we need to make in regards to moving away from something. And then actually underneath that on the back of the deck, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So to like change our fortune, like to change our luck around, you know, waking up to some type of major choice or decision or action that we need to take in order to change our life around. This card is also ruled by Mercury, I do believe, the Lovers card, which is in the trine to Pluto, which is very much a judgment card. So yeah, we may really be waking up to something that changes our perception on something and causes us to want to act, to move away from something in order to really totally change our circumstance or switch our luck around in one way or another. The other way that I'm reading this card, you know, is more literally in terms of the relationship dynamics. We may really be waking up, this Judgment card, to some type of relationship dynamics that have not been serving us in one way or another, causing us again to want to take action to move away from those circumstances and again come to a place in time where we can like sort of switch our luck, like switch our circumstances, like change the way that things have been operating. So really that is kind of like short and to the point, but that's what this is saying to me. Like, we are waking up either to some type of important choice or decision that we need to make to move away from something that hasn't been serving us in order to change our luck around in some type of a way, or we are waking up to some type of relationship dynamic that we need to move away from, or like even just like a perception of a relationship. We're just waking up to something in regards to relationships, partnerships, financial dynamics, agreements and stuff with other people, or choices and decisions that we need to make. And it's causing us, with these cards on the back, to really be like wanting to move away from more negative scenarios that we've been experiencing. So you guys, that is what I have to say for the tarot today that came out in conjunction with the astrology. And again, like, I do feel like, you know, with this Mars, Jupiter, Moon, Aries energy that we have going on right now, and this Pluto energy as well, this judgment energy as well, like, it's a rebirth, and it's also a wake-up call in regards to our mind and in regards to our heart as well. And our energy body and our emotional body, like all the way around in this, with what we have transpiring right now this week as we are moving towards our new moon in Gemini cycle. So let's grab one more card, you guys. This is a synchronicity card. These are just little messages from God. They are by Janice Shellman, and it's just some additional advice that we may need to help get us through our day today, something that can benefit us. So, okay, there we have one card coming out. Let's see what it says. Okay, and I would also agree with this. Things are not as they seem right now, it says. Things are not as they seem. And he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. Matthew 25:32. You must know the difference between the false and the true. Remove the false and negative thoughts from your mind. Come to a definite decision in your mind that God within you is all-powerful and all-wise, and nothing can oppose God. Remove the fear, the false thoughts. They are not real. Know God is opening doors for you. Know the path is being cleared. No success and achievement is on its way to you as long as you remove the false fears. So we're removing false fears today as well, you guys, and things are not as they seem. We were being the old owl sitting alone on the branch of a large tree and really just being very observant of what is going on and what is transpiring for us right now as well. And especially also with that Mercury Pluto energy, really like seeing to the bottom of things as well. You know, we are getting to the bottom of it, and we are learning the difference between the false and the true in this energy for sure. And that is what this card is saying. You must know the difference between the false and the true. And that might be one of the things that we're waking up to right now as well, these polarities with this Lover's energy and this Judgment energy. So very interesting, you guys. That is what I have to say for my video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. If you liked this video, please give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would be interested. Leave me comments, you guys. You know I love your comments. I appreciate you so much. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We are going to have more astrology to talk about as Mars inches closer to Jupiter in the sky and we move closer to our new moon in Gemini that is coming up. I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. So I will see you then. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye.